This time, Season 4 Promotion and Relegation Special.
'Cause I'll stay a wild rover forever and more.
Hello and welcome to By Far the Greatest Team, a podcast in which football fans attempt the impossible to rank once and for all who is the greatest team of all time. My name is Graham Dunn, making the case as ever for Oxford United. And joining me, he's going to be in his element today. It is the king of the data, Jamie Rooney.
Yeah, will we get too much data, Graham? Hello, I hope you're good. I think tonight it's more about reopening the greatness index that we've created across season 4. We've now covered 38 extra teams, episodes and features, travelled 154 years through football history, from Wanderers in 1872, the first FA Cup winners, all the way through to our much promoted and much pushed FIFA World Cup barbarian team. We've ranked 37 teams in one tournament. We've welcomed 14 different guests into the by far the greatest team family. Some brilliant new voices and plenty of returning favourites we're always grateful to have back home with us. What a ridiculous, great journey it's been. We've gone from Victorian FA Cup pioneers to Brazil 1982. I think they may pop up tonight. From Clough and Taylor's miracles to Derby's 11-point disaster. We've done the Shankly teams. We've done Stoke. And I think we've invented a football verb, the delap. We've welcomed authors, journalists, historians. So we're going to talk about the teams we've ranked tonight, and everything is under review because we may be about to see the greatest movement in football history since Yuri Geller moved that ball from that penalty spot in that match using nothing but the power of his mind. Graham, we're in for a treat. But the only question left really, did we get it right? And thankfully, we are joined by two all-time greats to help us answer that question.
Yes, indeed. We welcome back to the studio. It's good to have him back here. Gus Krasonis. Hi, Gus.
Hello, guys. Thank you. Thank you again for having me. It's another honor to be here, and my first promotion relegation special. Felt quite nice not to do loads of research for it and just feel like, can be myself and throw my opinions at you, and feel free to shut them down.
Making up the rest of our jury tonight. Welcome back,
Good
Declan
evening,
Clark.
gentlemen. Good evening, all. Hello. How are we doing? Lovely to be here again.
I'm very much liking your Everton shirt. Is it
Yes,
King of Hams?
it is the King of Hams. Yes, it's Hafnia, the King of Hams.
Excellent. Great to have you on as well, Deck. So this is our kind of spool through almost like the best of our season that we've done, and our chance maybe to right some wrongs, of which I'm sure there are a few along the way. Jamie, we should probably start though with a little quick reminder of what our categories of greatness are, because we struggle to remember. So how guests and listeners and occasional dip-in listeners would ever have a clue. So what have we got? We got 5 categories, haven't we? Or 5 proper categories.
It's the cornerstone of what we try to do here is when we pick a team and then we talk about it in the lightest way possible, have a bit of fun with it, and then we rank it in our tier system. Yeah, so this is our ranking system, Graham. This is what we use. This is what we're here tonight to judge whether we've actually got stuff right. So tier 1 is what we like to call all-time greats. Is that right, Graham? The immortals.
Second tier 2, we go into true greats, don't we?
Yeah, so this is they're not really immortal teams, but there's a bit of seriousness attached to these football teams that we're ranking. And then the third tier, what we've called from episode 1 in season 1. Here we are on episode 30 odd on season 4. Touch of greatness. So, a special team, but it's only really kind of flirted with greatness for a sustained period. Nothing that's kind of gone on for a long period of time. We've got a few of those that may crop up tonight. And then we've got my favorite one, I think, the edge of greatness. So teams that aren't really great, but have flirted with the idea of greatness. So they've come incredibly close They kind of sit on the precipice of greatness and look beyond the valley of greatness, but they don't get involved in what's going on deep in that great valley.
I think it's probably the most asked question from any of our guests is, remind me, what's the difference between touch of greatness and edge of greatness? And fair play, because on last week's pod, James mentioned cusp of greatness or on the cusp of greatness, which I think sounds brilliant. And I'm launching a campaign for a tier 3.5 cusp of greatness.
I know. We've been doing this for so long, and James comes along on his first episode and just basically spots the obvious in terms of our naming conventions. Yeah.
And then fifth tier, which one's that?
Blinkered greats. These are your cult classics. These are the ones that just appeal to the brilliant nature of what football is really about. The romantic ones. And Gus, I think we did at the very start of season 4, we did a very romantic blinkered greats review in the sleepy Italian village that went all the way, very close to going all the way to Serie A.
Yeah. One of my favorite stories of all time, really. That for me, that's where it is for football, is those romantic stories there. They just feel good stories. Doesn't matter if they get silverware or just like make all the headlines. It's just about the community and the passion for the game.
And then we also eventually came up with a bonus category, because we quite quickly, and it was when we did the FC Starts team, which was the team which
good knowledge, good memory.
Escape to Victory was based on, or semi-based on. And we did them, and we very quickly realised, well, it's not really a category for these. and so we gave ourselves a kind of escape pod that we could jump in, which is the not necessarily great, but without them, we wouldn't be where we are today. And I guess, Jamie, when do we use this other than in desperation?
But I think that's a brilliant category. It really defines, because obviously football isn't, most football stories you can spin into greatness, but the idea that something that like an FC Start, a Bakers, and work, in a prisoner of war camp in Ukraine can form a team and beat the Nazis. It's a great story. It deserves to be told. And if you're going to put them somewhere, I think it's a glorious place to be. Not great, but without them, we wouldn't be where we are today in the world of football.
Excellent. So what we're going to do tonight, everyone has a prized, luxurious opportunity to relegate or promote a team out of the category. So we're going to run through some of the highlights of these teams, and this is the chance. Deck and Gus are speaking for the people here, and me and Jamie might have sobered up or kind of realised we might have been on some hallucinogenic acid trips during some of our rankings, and had the opportunity to revisit them. So when we get to the end of the pod, we'll all relegate or promote a side, and this is the opportunity for us not only to relegate and promote a side that we want to get out of, to move, but also maybe to convince an ally to do it for them as well.
Cool. In which case, where do you want to start, guys? We've got 6 categories to review with the teams in each one. So do we start at the top? Do we start at the bottom?
I think we should probably start at the top whilst energy is high.
Energy is high. At the top, a reminder of the teams, 7 teams we've ranked in the all-time greats category this season, and they are Brazil, 1982, Italy, 1982. We've also got Nottingham Forest, 77-80 Brian Clough's team. If we did a second time, the only team we've done twice on this thing. Oh no, that's not true, because we did Oxford United twice. Alex Ferguson's Aberdeen from the late 70s, 80s. Bill Shankly's second Liverpool team where Deck joined us. We put in all-time greats. I wonder if that pops up. And then we've got 2 teams that Gus will probably want to talk about. And that's both of Herbert Chapman's teams in all-time great. Arsenal from 1925-39, and before that, Huddersfield Town, 1921-28. So Graham, that is our all-time great list. But yeah, it'd be interesting to get the views of Deck and Gus on a couple of the teams in this one, because on reflection, I feel, Graham, we probably were giddy. But there's 7 all-time greats. I think that balances out across 38 episodes, averages out.
When I look back at this, I think Brazil and Italy 82 are a bit. Now, Italy won the World Cup, didn't they? But Brazil, I mean, they barely got out of the group. Does Brazil 1982 seem a bit? Were we a bit love struck on that one?
I'm quite happy to throw this question over to the gents on this one. I mean, I do have some views on Brazil 1982, but I'm going to hold on to them until the thoughts of Deck and Gus have been shared.
I think Deck, as somebody who would have watched that 1982 tournament, it's probably is the prime on this.
Yeah, I watched it, and I watched that match between them, and that's one of the greatest football matches I've ever watched. I remember coming home from school. We had a knackered-out colour telly upstairs, and I watched it, and I went, oh my God, I was just absolutely enthralled. It's like a hot Tuesday afternoon or something it was, and it was just absolutely enthralling television to watch it. Now, you see, I can see why you've put it into greats, Brazil, because they were, I mean, that side, my God, the talent side. It was unreal to me, like Socrates and Falcao and Eder and Zico and Leandro and Junior, Paulo Sergio, so many players. Just trip off the tongue. They were fantastic. They were beautiful to watch. They were seemingly miles ahead of anyone in that tournament. I mean, they stormed through the group. Absolutely tore it up. I mean, okay, and you're thinking, who's going to stop them? Absolutely nobody. And then they met Italy. You could just see. I mean, they were lovely to watch, still playing about, but you could see the Italians were not phased one bit. They just really scraped through the group. I mean, they'd drawn 3 times. But they'd also met Argentina in the group of death, and they'd snuffed them out, literally and metaphorically, actually. I remember in that match watching... there was a free kick that he had, and Maradona was lined up against Gentile. And the referee's just watching the free kick. And as the ball goes up in the air, Gentile just sticks an arm out and crack, just like poleaxes Maradona, drops him. Referee's like, play on, lads. And I just thought, well, he's marvellous. He's fantastic. I mean, we talk about, what is it, nominative determinism, where, the name matches the person or the person what he does. Gentile, could you think of any sort of opposite nominative determinism than that guy? But of course, they had Paolo Rossi waiting in the wings as well, who'd just come back from his little sojourn in the caboose for Max fixing, and they weren't fazed by the Brazilians at all. And I didn't take them to pieces, but my goodness, they gave them. And it was just like everyone's shell shocked. What's just happened there? This fabulous, wonderful team that we've.
Is there a case to be made, since they were this talented but they didn't win anything? Are they between all-time greats and edge of greatness? So then, do they get relegated into true greats, but they don't actually translate into all-time greats because the return wasn't there? Yeah.
Well, I think it's definitely a case for that. Jamie, you said you might have a defence for that.
I think we were giddy on. I mean, I'm definitely giddy. everything that Dex just said there, the hairs up on. I cried at this football match. I mean, I was a little boy. I was 10 years old, and I'd fallen in love with this football team for all of the reasons, because it makes football beautiful, and they played it very beautiful. And Socrates was just the most handsome man in the world, really, isn't he? But yeah, I think we were giddy when we did it. I mean, I actually came prepared into this thinking they're on my list. And just to back up what Deck is saying, all-time greats, Brazil 1982 should be on the list to relegate them. And I think Deck's already gone for it. They were an iconic football identity. You can't deny it. Everyone remembers Brazil 82. Not many people remember Italy 82, the team that won. They remember Paolo Rossi. They remember the scandal, but they don't always remember Italy. Beautiful players with a beautiful culture, and they are still talked about. And they're talked about in Brazil as the one that got away. But yeah, you're right. No trophy. They went out. I think they went out in the group of 12, whatever it was called back then.
Yeah, they are technically in the last 12, aren't they, or something?
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, and
I think what we need to remember as well is that even if they get relegated to true grades, it's still not a bad place to be, is it? Like, we're still gonna talk about them and remember them. It's just the fact that I think they don't seem to stack up against the, for example, on your graphic with all the list of all the teams that made it to this category this season. I think Nottingham Forest is the clear cut for me, bang on setting the standard. For all the same reasons, really. Like we still talk about them; they're still like legendary. But that's the thing. Like when Brazil has won so many other, and you said that
Yeah.
you said that, Graham, in a previous podcast we did with me, I think for the AC Milan one, is that they compared to other versions of Brazil,
Yeah.
and they have 5 of them to compete with at the very least. And Italy just the usual Italian version of defensive football, not fancy, not not anything special that you will remember. You remember the statistics, you remember like Dino Zoff being 40 and lifting the cup, but yeah, there's not. So yeah, there is.
I think we made a rod for our own back by once we'd put Brazil as all-time greats.
Yeah.
We couldn't put Italy, the
You
team that
can't
won
put-
the
yeah.
tournament, below it. So there's a case for both of them.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think Deck raises a point, Graham, that we didn't really fully explore, and defensively they were exposed, and it's great insight. We had a view from that in 1984 where John Barnes it's not even like a really wavy run from memory. I haven't seen the goal for years. He just kind of runs from the touchline all the way to the far post, and no one seems to bother even putting a tackle in. I mean, it's a brilliant goal, and I don't want to do a disservice to the brilliant John Barnes, but yeah, maybe the clues were there. Maybe the romance of this team was just clouding my judgment.
can I also make a case for Huddersfield?
Yeah.
Is that any pre-war football is kind of not great, but without it we wouldn't be here, which is it's just really polarizing, isn't it? Because this Huddersfield is an all-time great, but it kind of feels like also not great, but without it we wouldn't be here. So all those teams, they might have been paving the way for football for the generations to come, but their actual football and their competition and their it wouldn't probably stack up against Nottingham Forest 77 to 80, would they? Then that's kind of my, and I didn't want to be that contrary and say anything pre 1970s might be the same. It's a bit
There's
too.
definitely, I know where you're going from that. We definitely decided that when we put the Wanderers where we did, because it was just felt you weren't judging them against a sort of proper opposition. Jamie, I think you would probably mount the strongest defence for Huddersfield, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think Gus has a really solid point. If you do put Huddersfield Town 1920s against Brian Clough's Nottingham Forest, there is going to be one winner every single time. But you can only judge teams in the context of their era. And in this particular era, Huddersfield Town were the best team in English football. And English football was arguably, and it's hard to judge it because there were no official international tournaments in the 1920s. There was international games. Sorry, Gus, I might have got that wrong.
No, I just had an epiphany, and sorry to
No, share it, please.
The category is called all-time greats, not era greats. So I thought, if we judged every like by decade or then yes, but then all-time greats.
Yeah.
I think that's checkmate.
Yeah, you're kind of making me reflect on all my life choices right now.
I'll
Excellent.
take it back if that's the case.
I think it's fair to add them to the list
Okay.
in terms of teams that are under challenge.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
I get that.
So I think from all-time greats, Brazil 82 and Huddersfield 21-28 are probably in the mix. Jamie, do you want to pull up the next category? True greats.
So, in True Greats, Graham, do you want me to go through them, or would you like to list them
I'll
off?
go through. Yes. So for True Greats, we had 8 teams in this one. I can already see a standout here, but we had another Brian Clough side. His Derby County won the title in 1970-73. We had AC Milan 02-08, which Gus was on. We had Bill Shankly's first Liverpool side, which Dec helped us on, and Manchester City 67-70, which we did, I think, as part of our Christmas special.
Tech did that one as well.
Then we had Graham Souness's Rangers 86-91. Arsene Wenger's first Arsenal side, which was a lot of fun. Bayern Munich. This was a really fun side.
Brilliant team.
FC Hollywood. They seem to have done quite well to get into True Greats. And then we had the brilliant Michael Lewis on as we ranked a World Cup. And I think this one's probably quite a controversial one. This is a US World Cup 94 now. I think one of the things about World Cups and how you rank them and judge them is what your era is. You know, there's definitely a sweet spot, probably between the age of, I don't know, 8 to 18 or 8 to 20, some early 20s or something. I think that is everyone's sweet spot, and there'll be a World Cup within there where you literally watched every game. That you didn't miss anything. You kind of absolutely absorbed yourself in it. And depending on where you're... Yeah, so which one was yours?
2002.
Japan.
I was 13, so exams at school and then straight to the TV. I remember the group stage Brazil Costa Rica 5-2. That game was so good. At 11 o'clock in the morning in Greece, something like that. Just brilliant, sunny weather. Then you watch some football, then go play some football. So yeah, World Cups are really, really difficult because Japan 2000, Korea Japan 2002 is my my childhood, but I wouldn't proclaim that it's the best World Cup. So it's very difficult to be objective with tournament rankings.
So Jamie, World Cup 94, though, that's a romantic one for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I loved it, and I loved the episode we had with the brilliant Michael Lewis, who lived and breathed it. But yeah, I mean, it's strange because, as we discussed on the episode, it was the first time that I experienced the World Cup without England being there, and I became Irish, and I was quite proud to be Irish for that 3-week period. It was quite nice drinking Guinness. Yeah, absolutely brilliant World Cup. It's like, it's some of the nostalgic things that it's pre the internet. So the mystery of the World Cup was still very much a thing. There would be players that you would never have heard of. There'd be teams, Greece, Gus, we're at this World Cup for the very first time.
That's another reason to relegate this one.
But it's
10 goals against, 0-4.
But they were there. They were at the party.
They were
in the United States of America, and and they were one of 24, which was a much nicer and neater number to handle a World Cup in the United States of America. And yeah, you had Panini sticker albums. I mean, this was the height of Panini sticker albums because that's how you got to know the players. That's how you got to learn about where they were from, what height they were, what club they played for.
Yeah.
How dodgy their mustache was. It's a wonderful era, and I feel we're going to be debating whether we should be talking about a tournament in this thing, but I'm glad we did. But I also feel True Greats for World Cup 94 might be on the table.
Dec, have you got much love for the US 94?
No, I mean, there's a lot to be said for it. I mean, they had all these incredible grounds. I think they still hold record for the total attendance over all the games. Even after they expanded the number of teams in it, they still have the record because the stadiums are like generally twice as big as the European ones, and they sold them. But I really don't have a lot of love for it. I just think maybe I was just disengaged at the time. I don't know. I mean, I was engaged with Ireland, obviously, being of Irish descent. But I mean, they were quite. I mean, it was a good, nice party and that, but it was quite stultifyingly dull, weren't they? In fairness, and they had John Aldridge playing for them, who rivals Emlyn Hughes in my affections. In fact, if anyone who could possibly eclipse Emlyn Hughes in my affections, it'd be John Aldridge.
This island side are the closest Oxford have ever come to any kind of World Cup glory.
Well, yeah, because I was going to say, that's a little bit of business he did. They approached Aldridge and he said, yeah, I'll play for you. Oh, by the way, do you know that Ray Houghton's granny's from Donegal or something? And that was like, oh my God, oh really? Yeah. Oh. So that's how he got in. He didn't even. Yeah, I mean, it's to me, it's a big load of meh, bookended by 2 missed penalties, one by Diana Ross and one by Roberto Baggio. I'm not sure which was worse.
In its defense, a little bit though, it has some iconic moments. I mean, obviously that penalty by Baggio, the hanging head and it's really classic, and the celebration, Bebeto and Romario. There are some moments where, when you see them, you know which World Cup they come from. So again, it's difficult. It's difficult to quantify a tournament because of different.
Isn't this the one as well where Bulgaria put up a decent showing?
Yeah.
Well, more than decent.
Bulgaria had a good team. Yeah.
Graham brought up a brilliant stat on Bulgaria when we did this episode. Graham, I'm not going to take your thunder. Please share it.
So Bulgaria, the way I phrased it was that Bulgaria came from nowhere and they went back to nowhere because Bulgaria hadn't won any of their 16 games at a World Cup before here. They even lose their first World Cup game here, get through to the semi-finals, and then don't win another game at a World Cup. In fact, only reach one more World Cup, but don't win a game. It's just genius. It's just and it is the way to do it. If you're only gonna win like 10% of your games in a World Cup history ever, do it in one tournament and go all the way.
Well,
Who's the Bulgarian keeper with the bad setup?
Well, yes, it is a
God,
great
what was
shout.
his
I
name?
hadn't
I
thought
can't-
about him. He is brilliant.
Borislav Mikhailov.
Yeah.
Mikhailov, I think. That might be the one.
He should have played for
Yeah.
Barnet, shouldn't he, in the end?
On the true grades debate, can I say I would love for Milan to make it to all-time grades. I was thinking of a straight swap with Huddersfield.
There you go. Yeah, that's perfect. Well, your cards are on the table. I like it. I like
Yeah.
it.
But I know it's literally it's comparing between great teams of the same badge. So I don't know if we did promote them, where do we go from there for the other teams that did better?
I mean, I was when we did the podcast for the first Shankly side, and me and you both said, Graham, that you're knocking on the ceiling of all-time great with that, and we put him in a true game. I said another day. If you asked me another day, I would have said all-time.
Yeah.
Tonight isn't that.
Right. I question whether we got them right.
Well, we're gonna come back to that later. I think.
Yeah, definitely coming back to that.
Normally, to greatness is absolutely rammed with entries, as we don't really commit. But I think we were better at picking a side and really going for it. So we had 6 teams in the Touch of Greatness. We had Jurgen Klinsmann's brilliant Germany from 2006 World Cup. We had Graham Taylor's Aston Villa, which bounced back from the second tier and finished second before he takes the England job. We had Ron Atkinson's Manchester United. Oh my God, how did they get Touch of Greatness? I don't know. We had the brilliant FC Twente, Steve McLaren's with that. Well, that's only going one way in my book. But we have Kaiserslautern, who, I think there's a familiar manager involved with Kaiserslautern there to Gus. And then, I'm not sure how North Korea 1966 came, but what a story that was.
It was a brilliant story.
Quite a few to get your teeth into here.
I'm quite happy generally with this category. I felt like they all kind of deserve to be there. The only thing I had was Twente. It just feels like a little bit of a Leicester thing, just like suddenly a massive great year or two, but then, is it enough to be even touch, or was it like if they manage it for another 3 or 4 years, got another title, something like that, could they be then? I don't know. It just feels a bit.
I do know what you mean, because it's a bit of a kind of freak freak season. I think what probably does rescue them, which I hadn't really appreciated, was how close they came to winning the title the following season. So they almost win three really, but they're quite close in the season before. But they are literally a game away from
the final game of the
doing the
season
double-double,
Ajax, isn't it?
Yeah. And that was probably, so I sort of view them as being kind of, it's a 2-season wonder, which actually then isn't so bad.
Yeah, I have no strong feelings. I could go either way. It just feels a little bit brief, but
We're sort of retreading old ground here around sort of, great, how many great Brazilian sides or how many great Milan sides could you have? But I mean, there've been quite a lot of great Man United sides. I'm not sure Ron Atkinson's the third tier of them.
I completely agree. I think we definitely misjudged it. There's clearly a pathway for more tiers for Ron Atkinson's Manchester United to move upwards in.
Oh, you didn't expect that, did you?
Yeah.
You know what? I think I'm with Gus. Yeah, I mean, Graham, you're right. The touch of greatness used to be the one where everything used to land, really, isn't it? I mean, I don't know if it shows our skill at judging these things or our just kind of patheticness of just sticking stuff in the middle because it's a convenient placeholder for teams that you don't want to rank as great or not so good. But yeah, I think Germany 2006 get to the semi-final. Graham Taylor's Aston Villa, what we did with the brilliant Stu Murray, was a wonderful story, and they came close to a league championship. Ron Atkinson's Manchester United, I don't think there's any doubt they need to move up a category or two. And Bene talks us through Kaiserslautern. I mean, they win the double, and they do it with the great Otto Rehal goal. And so, Gus, I don't think we're going to get any complaints from you on that one.
No. Only up maybe, but again, very brief to consider for any further up. But
I think.
But sorry, could I interject? Your description of what Aston Villa did, 87 to 90, sounds awfully familiar and similar to what Norwich did in 93, but they're a tier down. And why is that? Because if that defines touch and we're happy with it, then I want a recount.
But did Roy Walker go on to become England's greatest football manager?
Roy Walker or Mike Walker?
Mike Walker.
Walker, but I like to think Roy Walker.
We love it. Excellent. Okay, well, we will debate whether Norwich should be given the chance for a retrospective update during the break, and then we'll be back in the second half, and we will take a look at those in touch of greatness.
Hello all, Jamie here. Now, before we get into the second half, just a quick message from us. Firstly, thank you genuinely for the brilliant support you've given by far the greatest team football podcast this season and all seasons. We've actually now gone past 50,000 total downloads. And something we're very proud of, we're showing up in the top 10% of podcasts globally. Amazing. This means the world to us, and your support absolutely underpins that. Now, we're back in August for season 5, putting more great teams under the microscope. And we honestly think it could be our best season yet, with an ambitious push from the non-leagues towards the Football League of podcasting. Over the summer, we'll be reheating some of our World Cup linked episodes to time with the tournament in North America. So there's plenty of football nostalgia coming your way. Now, a small confession. We had a few technical gremlins in the second half of this episode, and unfortunately, we lost Deck's audio for most of it. We tried to recover it, but we couldn't. So the second half is a little bit more truncated than we planned. Now, the real tragedy of this, of course, is that Deck shared a brilliant Clapham Orient story about Albert Papp. But fear not, Deck will be back with us in the early days of season 5, and we'll make sure he gets the chance to tell that story properly. So again, thanks for listening, sharing, supporting, and helping this odd little podcast grow into something that we're all really proud of. You guys, our listeners, are all-time greats. Now on with the second half.
So welcome back. We are working our way through the sides. Now the alert amongst you will have noticed that we occasionally keep losing Dec with his his links, and he did disappear off before he had a chance to bring up this subject of Kaiserslautern, who were in our Touch of Greatness category. Dec, you had something you wanted to bring in with it.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to relegate Villa from this, but I just thought I'd leave them in, to be honest.
Don't do that, because they're my ticket for Norwich to come up. So just don't mess with Villa.
Okay, I'll keep quiet about that. But what I wanted to say about Kaiserslautern is that they are probably the only team I'm aware of that have a industrial strength swear word on their club badge. If you look at it, it's like it starts with 1 or Einth, and then underneath it's F, C, and then underneath that K. If you read that clockwise from 2:45 to 2:30, that will spell out the nice word thick. And for the German speakers on here, you'll probably gone, oh. So
how do the Germans feel about that then?
I think, well, I mean, they're sort of quite a literal people, aren't they? So they don't really see it. I'm sure there's probably people around the Saarland and things like that who go, tee hee 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 hee.
You are
Every
right.
time I see it, it just jumps out at me. I just think, oh, how did you get away with that?
As you see it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
That's definitely true. Excellent. Okay, so we are now heading into Edge of Greatness. How have we
Cusp of greatness.
Cusp of great. Cusp.
Cusping on the edge.
James, I think we have 7 in the Edge of Greatness that we've ranked this season. Over to you, Mr. Dunn.
Yeah, we got 7 teams here. We had the Steve Coppell's Crystal Palace, the Right and Bright show, which was a great story. Got to a FA Cup final. That was probably the highlight. Peru, 75-78. Now, I mean, if this had been just about the kit, they would have been in all-time greats. But this was about a kind of flair era they had, and particularly the 78 World Cup, where they certainly proved Ali McLeod's Scotland wrong. Wimbledon, 84-88, maybe that's a bit low when you look at the whole achievement they do. They do win the FA Cup. This is the side that makes its way all the way through the leagues. Oh my God, Norwich City. Mike Walker's Norwich City.
I've already added them to the list. I know where we're going.
Come on, get in.
A team we all remember super fondly. We have the Vancouver Whitecaps of 1979. That was part of our Christmas story,
Love
which
that.
Jamie
Love that story.
did. We have England. When we have the last 2 that we've done, the last 2 podcasts that we've done, we had England World Cup 86, which we're looking forward to, and France, who didn't make the 1994 World Cup. Now, we're quite happy with them in Edge of Greatness, but it's not. It's hard to tell. But any sides jumping out at you as being in the wrong place there?
England.
Higher?
Sorry, what?
Yeah. So this is this side. So this is the England 1986 side that they go out famously to Argentina with the 2 Maradona goals, the 2 massively big or massively famous goals for good and bad. But it is a bit of a struggle. So this is a team that England fans kind of remember quite fondly in terms of how close they came. But I mean, definitely as we were unpicking the story, they maybe, I mean, it wasn't a great campaign. Dec, do you think they're even too high in Edge?
Gosh, of course they are. They were terrible in the bloody group. First game, I mean, they were dire to watch. They lost 1-0 against Portugal, and then they drew against Morocco. The 2 things they had in the favour, it says there about the Robson tactical reset, that was forced on him by 2 things. 1, Wilkins getting sent off, and 2, Robson's shoulder popping. Allow me to mention Emlyn Hughes at this point, shall I? Because obviously Robson was injured before he went, and there was this huge debate about whether he should go, whether he shouldn't go. Oh, he's so great, he's got to stay. But he's doing someone else out of a place, isn't he? He's going, and he's clearly injured with this shoulder. It's just going to keep popping out. And I remember watching Football Focus, Bob Wilson was sort of making the case. Do we really think we should be taking a place? And Emlin's all over it. He's going, no, we got to take him. He's got to take him in his show. He's got to be on the bus. He's got to be on the plane. He's got to be there. He's got to be. Oh, God almighty. Anyway, obviously he convinced the FA bigwigs with that helium-laced diatribe, and they took him. And of course his shoulder popped out. Of course it did. Which led to the tactical reset, which is bringing in Peter Reid and Trevor Stephen. And they improved massively as a result. They were so much better.
I think Deck needs to declare a bit of an interest here, though.
I will declare an interest, absolutely. But there is no doubt about it. Bringing in Trevor Stephen and Peter Reid improved that midfield massively.
I mean,
until
Deck,
they played Argentina, of course. We'll come to that.
You were suggesting bringing down to Blinker Greats, a team which I think had 4 kind of Everton, because Lineker was Everton at that stage.
Yes, he was. It was a single season,
Gary,
yeah.
So this is 4 Everton players in the starting side, and you're going to put them in Blinker Greats.
I am. Just shows my impartiality, doesn't it? I mean, they improved tremendously. I mean, they went. Who did they?
It was Poland. It was Poland.
They beat Poland 3-0, and then who did they come up against next? Paraguay. That's it. They beat them 3-0, didn't they? As well.
When you look at the run to the potential run to the final, Paraguay in the last 16 and Belgium in the semi-finals, it's an absolute dream tie if they could, or dream path. If they could get past.
What a shame Argentina spoiled it, eh?
I mean, to be fair, Edge feels kind of right. If you think that, if they made semi-finals, could have been touch. They lost to a handball in a Maradona worldie, the best goal of all time. They have a few excuses, not like the 98 England or, that sort of thing where all the talent is there, but they don't do anything with it. It's just they improve during the tournament, and then they manage, they get out from the eventual winners. And so Edge, not even touch, but Edge kind of feels okay to me, personally.
I'm with you, Gus. I mean, I suppose the one moment where they do look like Blinker Greats is when Peter Reid is trying to chase back after Diego Maradona.
Well, I was literally just about to mention that. I mean, what he should have done was said, Robson should have said, that's Brian Marwood, not Maradona. Because I saw when Marwood, I mentioned this when I did Everton, AC5, when Marwood did Agent Heath. In that one, and Reedy just chased him all over the pitch, and I've never seen him run so fast in my life. He was just determined. He was going to, take Marwood out, and he did just before half time. Had he done the same with Maradona, would have been talking. I'd have probably put them in there. I don't know, true greats or whatever, but he didn't.
Yeah,
probably a bit hot for him.
Yeah, so I definitely think that England side's up for.
Do you know what? It's a real kind of sad reality, though, because this England 1980-16, that's the 4th one we've done, Graham, on these things that we do. We've done England 1990, England 96, and England 82 as well. They're all rubbish.
They're much worse than you remember them.
Just wait till you do in England 2026. Oh, one thing I should mention here is that they should actually be in all-time greats according to Panasonic, this team.
Go on.
Sorry. Really?
Yeah, because probably a couple of years before the tournament, probably about 84, there was an advert for a Panasonic video recorder. And the guy was saying, he said, perfect for reviewing old favourites like England's 1986 World Cup win.
Wow.
I remember it now.
You remember that one?
I do remember it, yeah.
And I was thinking, I'll look forward to that then.
This is a real kind of low point for me, but I think that's my second favourite videotape commercial after Scotch's re-record, not fade away, with the
brilliant, wasn't it?
Dancing around,
Geiler
saying
doing the voice.
Not fade away. I mean, that's my all-time greatest videotape commercial after the Panasonic one. Yeah, very good. True greats. Both of them higher than all of the England teams that have ever played football.
That is excellent. Any other sides on that list that are grabbing anyone's fancies? Norwich. You'd like to see Norwich move up. Well, I suppose we do have what I like about this is there's a bit of a yin and a yang because, Gus, you can talk about how great Mike Walker is as a manager, and then Deck, you have the floor.
Oh, crazy. Yeah, I'll go on,
Yeah,
Gus. I'll let you go on. Go for it.
What can I say? I mean, that is the pinnacle of Norwich history domestically, and it's sad because they only managed third, but they did that, and then they did that European run the next year. If I'm honest, I don't think I can push. I think Edge is fine. You know, it's
You're just you're duty bound as a Norwich fan to make the case, aren't you?
Like I said when we did the episode, for Norwich they are all-time greats, but like, you know, if we're judging them overall, they don't have much to show for it. It was just a crazy fluke season, an all-out attack. We're gonna score 5. They're gonna, concede 4. Hopefully that will, when we score 1, we're gonna concede 7. But yeah, there's not much to say. They're fine where they are.
That Palace side, there's a lot of love for. That's the right bright, and I think it's a really powerful story in terms of kind of role models as well, isn't it? You know, it's a side that you look at the kind of the Ron Atkinson West Brom side that gets talked about for the black players that are promoted, but this Palace side has a series of really iconic black players who come through and feel like there's a real identity with this team.
Wait, so what we're saying is if Crystal Palace gets promoted, they're going to be another side that finished third but didn't have a European run.
Yeah, I
think I'm being wronged here.
And I think what's so commendable about that side is this is what I mean about this kind of, it feels like there's a sense of place with that team, is that they picked out so many players from the locality, from non-league. There's literally no budget at all. And you look at Andy Gray, Wright, Ardew. I mean, the list goes on of players who come through, a lot of them from non-league. It's like, I mean, Koppel spends nothing.
Yeah, I mean, the Ian Wright story is just fantastic. And I think we talked about it when we did the Crystal Palace podcast. I mean, Ian Wright, we all benefit. Everyone benefits in the United Kingdom by Ian Wright being on our television screens. There isn't anyone who dislikes Ian Wright, surely. He's just the most wonderful, bubbly, beautiful human being. He'd given up on football. He was 22 years old. He was nearly 23 years old. He'd given up on football because he tried to get into so many teams and was just rejected. And then for a chance encounter, when he's down with Dulwich Hamlet, he gets spotted, and then suddenly he's raced into Steve Coppell's Crystal Palace team, and the rest is history. That will make a nice name for a podcast, I think, Graham.
Yes, I think his Palace side is a great shout. So let's.
Dear, no, I don't, because we are really, really pissing Gus off right now.
I just feel like the same criteria that applies for every other English team. To be in touch of greatness is not enough for Norwich to be in touch of greatness.
As Gus, as you know, as we're told pretty relentlessly, it's the 2-tier system these days. Right, we should get to Blinkered Greats. Go on, Jamie. Who have we got in?
It's a shorter list, Graham. It's a very special list, but yeah,
And it's Team Beauty. So we have Chesterfield, the FA Cup semi-finalists, cruelly robbed by a harsh lack of linesman call from the FA Cup semi-final 1997. We have Ian Holloway's Blackpool, who fortunately we did put in Blinkered Greats, did gloriously to get promoted, and the most naive team ever to be promoted, and quite glorious. We have Brighton under Jimmy Melia, who we covered it on the Liverpool Bill Shankly podcast a little bit, and his slightly eccentric run in charge of Brighton, where they got relegated, but so nearly gloriously beat Man United in the FA Cup final that year. And the brilliant Castel di Sangro, which we did with Gus, which I think this won't mean anything to anyone. Somebody who was already in the chat has asked to come into the chat. That is confusing me a bit. Castel di Sangro, who were an absolutely glorious team. Gus, I don't think there's much question that this side is where they belong, but what a story.
Yeah, I don't think they should go anywhere apart from looking at this graphic. And for the people watching on YouTube, look at that shirt. That maybe that deserves a little bit, because look how it stands out.
It is. That shirt.
Which Gus
That shirt
wore
feels
on
like
the
that should have
episode
been
as
in
well.
USA World Cup '94, doesn't it? It's got that would have worked well there.
It's a fully 90s design, which I do have. I should have worn it, but I went for the England one today.
Probably one of the greatest. You did wear it when we did the Castel di Sangro story, Gus, and you looked absolutely splendid in it. And the wonderful thing about it is probably, I mean, Deck has got the beautiful 1984, I think, Everton shirt at the moment with the incredibly inquisitive sponsor, Athena.
King of Hams.
Yeah, King of Ham.
Yeah.
I mean, Castel di Sangro, correct me if I've got this wrong, Gus. Soviet denim was the shirt sponsor.
Jeans, yeah.
Soviet jeans was the shirt sponsor. Thank you for correcting me. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that.
It's just, it just literally, the randomest story has the randomest sponsor as well.
I can just imagine somebody wearing the Castel di Sangro shirt with Soviet jeans on it, and they're wearing jeans, and they're like, "Oh, your jeans are quite nice." And for them to turn around and say, "They're not just any old jeans; they're Soviet jeans."
The advert writes itself. Yeah, exactly.
Taking it to another level.
The only problem was you had to wait 6 months to get a pair.
So, short of Deck's request for a new category for Blackpool, I think you just like to call them blinkered.
Do you know what? I'll tell you what. I'll go through this category. Chesterfield, yeah, defo. Castel di Sangro. I actually thought they were an edge, but I thought they were either.
I think that was my blunder in the prep.
Ah, that's why. Okay.
Jamie, let's take a look at the teams in our final round with Carrot, which we did put a couple in, didn't we?
Yeah.
Not great, but without them, where we are today. Well, we had, of course, we were worried. We were a little bit worried that the Derby County team that got a record low. We did a sort of heaven and hell Derby County. We did the Clough winning side, but we also did the 11-point season. And for a little bit, it looked like Wolves might take it, but you really have to go something to get 11 points and only 11 points. As a footnote, I do think, I know there's lots of contributing factors as to how they get there, but you absolutely have to tip your hat to Sheffield Wednesday ending the season on 0.
0 points. Yeah.
That it was a thing of beauty out of all the ups and downs as to whether they'd be negative, positive, to finish bang on naught. So a whole season's work, no points to show for it. It's probably harsh.
Just like the UK entry in the Eurovision Song Contest.
We also had the Wanderers. We kind of alluded to this at the start of football. This was our kind of public school and home counties special. And we basically, to sort of Gus's point that he was making earlier, you just couldn't really judge the Wanderers. The Wanderers were either all-time greats because they won everything, or you just couldn't count them. And we thought we couldn't. And then we had two super fun sides. We had Stoke City, who I think we could have, they'd have maybe, there's a case for them in edge of greatness or something like that. They were quite good under Tony Pulis. But we put them in this category, the not necessarily great, but without them we wouldn't be where we are today because, of course, the Rory Delap throw has never been bigger than it is in football today. So it does feel like it's a precursor. And then we had Leyton Orient, which was a fun one. Well, Leyton Orient was a bizarre. We had Stu Burgess on that one, and we decided we were going to do it so that we could talk about the documentary, which is absolutely fascinating with John Sisson. But then we tasked ourselves with finding out anything interesting we could find out about Leyton Orient.
I think it's our longest ever episode we've ever recorded. And we went into it, Graham, thinking, what are we going to talk about?
And yet, having done all of that, we still found a fact that we didn't come across. Deck, I think you've got a nice little Leyton Orient footnote.
Yeah, that is a brilliant story. I couldn't help but be lured to his Wikipedia page. He has his own Wikipedia page, and as you were telling the story, I could see it unfolding. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
Absolutely tremendous. Oh, that's been brilliant. Right. Okay. We need to get into the business part of the pod, and we need to think about who we're going to relegate and promote. Jamie, do you want to give us a bit of a heads up on the rules and a quick reminder perhaps of who we've got possibly in the frame?
Yeah, let me give you a reminder who we got in the frame so you can possibly note these down, and then we can go through some very simple rules. I have on my list, and please correct me if I've got this wrong. Brazil 1982, Huddersfield Town 21-28, AC Milan 2002 to 2008, FC Twente 2009 to 2011, Norwich City 1992 to 1997. I have them kind of twinned with Aston Villa. Graham Taylor's Aston Villa as well. So there may be some kind of exchange here. But I also have Crystal Palace 1987 to 1990 and England 1986. Is there anyone else that we are putting into the pot of debate?
I wanted to make a case a little bit for Stoke because it feels that yes, obviously the Rory Delap throw in is what they gave to football, but I feel like they don't belong that low because I feel like blinker grades would be more appropriate because they weren't bad. They were actually quite good. They just didn't do anything with it. But being with the Derby County that broke every record of terribleness, it just feels a bit to put them in the same pot.
So we have Wanderers, Stoke City, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, England, Norwich, FC Twente, AC Milan, Huddersfield, and Brazil to debate whether we've got them right or wrong. Basic rules, guys. Original ranking stands unless it's challenged. We're challenging now. Case for and against, that can come from any of us. We must consider everything: achievement, style, legacy, context, and cultural impact. Maybe we should think about era impact as well. Can only do in your era. And then we promote or relegate on a majority wins basis. And as it's four of us, if it's a 2-2 tie, we're going to hand it back to our man who always decides these things and makes our rankings almost pointless anyway.
Our very own Len Goodman.
Graham, as always, will have the final say.
Graham has the away goal rule.
He does.
Count as 1.5.
Absolutely that. So, Wanderers, Deck.
I think that's the thing. You're asking for multiple category promotion.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick. I get it. I when we came into the Wanderers, I was thinking surely they're going to be all-time greats or true greats because of the contribution to the FA Cup and the fact they won 5 FA Cups as well. And they are one of the founding fathers of football in the history of the game. But then when we did the podcast, we debated the context of football, and I was comfortable with where we got to in the end with not great, but without them, we really, really, really wouldn't be where we are today. So I get your argument, Deck, because I thought the same, but I'm going to stick where I am with.
Well, I say stay put as well because I do feel like those are very polarizing. Those pre-war, and especially the ones that started it all, they are obviously hugely influential to the game, but they're not necessarily their actual prowess on the football pitch put against the giants that we're talking of our eras. They wouldn't necessarily live up to it. They just started something for the next generations to elevate it. So I do feel maybe there should be a side category that's like legends and pioneers. But since there is
three new categories, guys.
I'm going to put in. Put in one last mitigation.
Yeah, go on.
Without Wanderers, the FA Cup as we know it wouldn't have been passed down because when they won it 3 times, the FA said that's yours in perpetuity. And what would you call him, chairman, whatever, the owner of the team, whatever, the guy called C.W. Alcock. He said, that's not fair. We're not going to do that. We'll return the trophy. So instead of them retaining it, that got passed down for everyone else to win.
But it was changed. The FA Cup as we have it now was, I think, only goes back to about 1909, 1910. So it was, you're right, Deck, but it was a different FA Cup trophy that gets awarded.
Well, all right,
now.
for 30 years. Didn't they get lost or something?
I love the case, but I think on a technicality that we can't I think if you do promote them, they need to be up in, true greats or something like that. And on a technicality, we can only move them up on one. We reject Wanderers. They stay where they are. Who's next, Jamie?
Stoke City, 2008 to 2030. The team that gave us the footballing verb, the Delap.
It just feels a little bit too harsh, even though they are disruptors and not nice to look at or to enjoy their football style. They still weren't bad. They weren't. I mean, obviously they weren't great either. So maybe there's some semantics there to decide on, but it just feels like to just bunch them up with the ones that didn't achieve anything or achieved like very, very, very little. It just feels a little bit harsh, but I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. So just over to you.
I'd rather gouge my eyes out with spoons than watch Stoke City from that era. Honestly. And I will just put this one little thing to defend myself as well, to reinforce my case. Pulis went, Mark Hughes came in, they got better.
Yeah, we talked about this as well. We actually covered that on the podcast that Mark Hughes did actually improve them from a league position. We did cover that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think the premise of the podcast was can people do it on a cold, wet night, Tuesday/Wednesday night in Stoke? And I think that's still a thing even now. So I think the jury sits. I think we say Stoke stay where they are. Jamie, who's next?
Crystal Palace, 1987-1990. That's a surprise one from Deck, actually. I didn't see that coming.
I think there's a lot of love in the room though for this one. I think Decker's kind of we kind of outlined a bit of love for this side. I personally I'm quite supportive of this one.
I do tend to agree, and I do have a fondness for this team, but I'm almost thinking we need to treble, whatever the word is for putting three things together. We need to do this with Norwich and Aston Villa, because I think
we're not moving three teams up.
The story is, Villa sits in a touch and Norwich and Crystal Palace sit in an edge. And the stories, I hadn't realised until Gus, the Norwich City fan, raised this, that they are strikingly similar. The stories are strikingly similar.
I feel like where they end up, the resources they had, promotion of local lads and lower league lads, not big signing, community team, countryside, rural area. Obviously not Crystal Palace, but the Norwich. That's what Norwich has, in my opinion, going for them. From my perspective, we do, and I'd have no problem with Crystal Palace. I kind of like them too. But I feel like, if we're doing one, it's just a bit like, it's kind of feels like we're keeping
anti-Anglian.
Yeah, leave the East Anglian boys out of this. They don't belong, kind of thing. So I just feel a bit like that.
Yeah, so I'm inclined to go with moving Crystal Palace from edge to touch of greatness, and I think it's fully deserved. But at the same token, and killing two birds with one stone, I think we should be moving Norwich City up there as well and joining Aston Villa in that bracket, because it just feels a bit dirty not doing that.
We all love the Norwich story. Let's say that business is done. Unbelievably, Norwich City and Crystal Palace have both.
Woo! Surprise promotion!
Surprise promotion to touch.
Which probably means we don't need to question Aston Villa's place in the
so that's done.
Bracket, which is great. Well, that brings us on to England, 1986, and I have to say, Deck has really opened my mind to what we were doing that day.
I just think, again, you got the legacy of the reason I don't think you can put them down. You would be talking about putting blinkered greats you'd be putting Gary Lineker winning the Golden Boot in blinkered
on probably the best World Cup ever.
Yeah. I mean,
Just looked at our table, Graham. Blinkered great. Historically, we have just this. I think this helps. Southampton, 81-82, Lorien Menemy. Chesterfield, who's in this list. Harlow Town, who played Leicester and Watford in the FA Cup in 1980. Bournemouth and the Arsenal Stadium 3. My head was turned, but it's firmly back where it was before we came into this thing.
I do like where Dec's coming from, because I think this England 86 side is massively overrated because it played well for one half against Poland and for 15 minutes again when John Barnes came on against Argentina. But I thought we were being harsh, putting them in touch of greatness, edge of greatness, let alone Lineker greats. Just, I think Lineker alone, you can't have Lineker. Lineker won the Golden Boot at that alone.
The only thing is, it's really frustrating that so many should have been fantastic England teams are all edge of greatness.
Yeah.
Or worse. But it does feel appropriate, unfortunately, that's where they're always edge of greatness because they can't get it over the line.
Yeah, definitely so. Jamie, who's next?
Next up is Gus brought it to the table. Lars's beautiful FC20 story from 2009-11. Steve McLaren talking with a Dutch accent in English. I mean, that alone is worth a touch of greatness, surely.
I won't argue against staying put. I got my surprise promotion, so I don't want to rock the boat anymore. I don't have any strong feelings about this, so I'm happy to be neutral and leave them be. Jamie,
you've got a bit of love for this team.
I think we got it right. I do feel that it was a strong season as well, and it was a beautiful team. And as I mentioned on the podcast with Lars as well, I do actually remember watching this team. It was back in the days where I had an unhealthy obsession of watching far too many football matches on every single day of the week where I could. And I watched this team, and Brian Ruiz in particular, what a fantastic forward he was. So I'm quite comfortable where we put him.
Yeah. I think so. I think we can dismiss this one. FC20 stay where they are. Who we got next, Jamie?
We've got 3 teams left. So AC Milan 2002, 2008. They're ranking true. I think that the debate was, do they deserve to be moved up into all-time greats?
If Huddersfield drop, I just don't feel comfortable with Huddersfield being all-time greats and AC Milan being true greats. It just, at least if they were in the same bracket, I would feel like in my head I could justify it a bit more.
I think that's quite a compelling argument, actually. I quite like the idea that Huddersfield and Milan should be aligned, and that's that is no disrespect to Huddersfield, who should be quite, I'm sure they would happily take being aligned with Milan. I suppose the question then is which of those teams do we think is in the wrong bracket?
That is the question. I would be more inclined to promote AC Milan. I mean, we put a little black mark because their meltdown against Liverpool in the second half of that Champions League final in 2005. But this is prime Ancelotti, isn't it? I'm just kind of looking at the second team he created, and he did go from like the diamond to the Christmas tree in terms of formation. Those formations are very well known, very well recycled and used in football. That's quite a legacy, isn't it? So I'm comfortable today moving AC Milan up into all-time great join Huddersfield.
I'm trying to think, and I think, like I say, I keep coming back. I think Gus does raise. I'm with Dec that I don't think Huddersfield should go down, but I'm also with Gus in that I do think there should be some equity between them, because I'm thinking, what would make Ancelotti raise an eyebrow? Okay, that may not be the right expression, but I'm sure he would certainly raise an eyebrow at Huddersfield being in the category above. And so I think we're going to back the promotion of Milan.
Yay, second promotion!
I think just leaves one more team to look at.
Yeah,
Brazil.
Castel di Sangro. Since I'm on a roll with promotions,
Don't get carried away. You're getting drunk on the giddiness of promotion. Yeah, Graham, we have one big topic. Brazil 1982. We rank this as all-time greats. This was just Graham and I. So this is proof that you shouldn't leave the two of us alone to do these things.
so now if they get relegated, they'll be under Huddersfield.
They will.
Just
You
I
know
don't
what?
know.
Yeah. I mean,
Fair enough.
I have to be honest. I absolutely adore this football team. It's the first football
Fair
team
enough.
that made me cry. And I can count on one hand the amount of times that football has reduced me to tears. It really is that low. Graham, I have to be honest. These are on my list. When I went through the teams that we ranked, I flagged them and I'm thinking, did we get this right? And I don't think we did get it right. I'm thinking they have to be marked down for their failure and not given credit for their failure. And Italy deserved to be an all-time greats. They won the World Cup. Brazil 1982, as beautiful as they were, as wonderful as they were, as much as they talked about, they went out in the second round of the World Cup. They didn't win anything.
I agree.
I think it's. I think we're unanimous in this. It took Deck to give some cold, hard, sober facts on this one, but Brazil 1982 back into true greats. Gentlemen, we've done some good work today. This has been excellent.
I'll just recap what we've done. So we've relegated Brazil from all time to true. We've promoted AC Milan from true to all time. We've moved Norwich City from edge to touch, and we've moved Crystal Palace from edge to touch. So that's 4 teams. That's good.
Excellent. Okay, well, thank you so much, everyone. That's been a lot of fun reliving some of the past. As a reminder, you can listen to any of our podcasts. You feel free to like and even subscribe and add any feedback or bits and pieces. All appreciated on that for the podcast. But that is it for this season. Deck and Gus, we look forward to bringing you back on next season. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Gus, for your time today.
Thank you, guys. It was really, really good fun, and I got 2 teams promoted from with no, I didn't come with a plan, so that was quite nice. So yeah, always a pleasure to be invited to talk about football with you guys. The proper times of football, not now.
And Deck, thanks as well. Crystal Palace, I'll be very thankful for that. I think that out of all our work here tonight, the Crystal Palace promotion, that feels like the most satisfying bit of work. Excellent. It's been great stuff. Jamie, thank you as ever.
But yeah, well done, Graham. Brilliant stuff. Great season. 4 of these seasons done. Absolutely incredible. I'm so glad I caught you when you were so drunk that day when I said, why don't we do this thing? And here we are, almost 5 years later, still doing this thing and having a great chat with brilliant people such as Deck and Gus. And hopefully more to come in the next season, which kicks off when, Graham?
Yes, we'll be back in August. Very excited. We have some fantastic precursors to the main season, including a look at one of our favourites, the Escape to Victory side.
Favourite football documentary.
And the Tottenham story everyone wants to hear, but more on that next season. So we will see you back in August.